That's correct. All right, viewers of concerned citizen of South Sudan, I welcome you all to our program. Today is November 2nd, 2018. We are live from Washington here with very, very important topic tonight. As you can see there, peace building and trust. That's going to be our discussion today. And also we have a guest, Suzanne Jambo, the leader of newly created Steps. She will join us momentarily. We're gonna ask some questions. You will ask some questions as well. And we will also focus on the celebration that took place 2 days ago on October 31st, 2018 as well. Bimunazat Salam. So we will focus more on it. And also I'm going to emphasize on a very, very ridiculous, statement that made by President Yoweri Kagame Museveni, the guy who continued to use those three words, and I'm going to mention these three words to you as well. Actually, Museveni said three words, two in Arabic and one in Dinka, in Acholi, and it's not only in Dinka and Acholi, it is in many, many tribes of South Sudan. Nearly 20 tribes of South Sudan call that word the same name, Jok. We use the word Jok. What he meant by that, we will go through it, analyze it together. Also, Museveni, he didn't stop there. He used the word al-huwiyya, which is in Arabic, in English, identity. Al-huwiyya means that identity. And he also used the word maslaha, benefit. Why is acting that way? What is wrong? So these three words, we will analyze them together, going through them. And also President Kiir apologized. This is the third time actually for me to hear apology from President Kiir, in that celebration on Thursday rather. And many more in the program. We will focus and do more analytical about the celebration and what is the way forward. Like I said, the topic is very clear here, and you can see there, under the screen, peace building and trust. We want to talk about peace building and the trust among the people of South Sudan. That should be our focus today. But first, I want to welcome all of you all around the world for joining us in this incredible day to discuss this issue together. And I want to alert you, though, because you know the rule of engagement always. Rule of engagement always, I cannot tolerate any insult. You can disagree with my guest, that's fine. You can disagree with me, that's fine. You can disagree with the viewers, that's fine. But we will not allow you to insult anyone. And remember, this zone has no spin. So please, we need to stay in focus, in issue of peace and the trust tonight. So I welcome you all one more time. Let's go ahead and wait for Suzanne Jambo to log in so I can bring her live, and we will go ahead and ask some questions. She can introduce herself and more and more and more. Thank you. I see that you requested me, Majak, but you gotta wait until I finish with my guests, and then after that I will open the floor to all other South Sudanese who wanted to contribute and make their, analysis. Thank you. And please, I want to remind you as well, when you log into our program, to make your voice heard, I want you to dismantle the Bluetooth, because Bluetooth, actually, I did a research, it is the one that causes the echo when you speak or when I speak. And you can tell now there is no echo at all. My Bluetooth is off in all devices. So when you log in, you wanted to make a comment, I want you to dismantle your Bluetooth. Again, no insult whatsoever. If you insult, and then it would be dealt with. So just let us, agree to disagree. That's fine. That's correct. Yeah, we need to know her better. This question, are going to be asked. So she will answer all the questions. So we are waiting for Suzanne Jambo, the leader of newly created party, step to join us momentarily so that we can start our program. So Suzanne Jambo, if you are there, you may send in a request so we can start proceeding in that regard. Actually, it's getting better today because we have a new device for concerned citizens of South Sudan. So we shouldn't have any other problem that we used to have previous weeks. Our broadcast always disrupted and goes off. I know that it pisses a lot of people off. It's not a good thing. But thank God we got it together. So we are waiting for Suzanne Jambo to show up so we can start our program here momentarily. Thank you for being patient. So if you are there, Suzanne Jambo, go ahead and send me a request. I don't see you are here yet. But if anyone see her, just let me know. I can bring her on board. Of course, we are always on time. What was that, Rami? The new device is what? So are you saying that the new device is not good? I think the new device is doing very well, Sorry for that commercial. Yep, we are waiting for Suzanne Jambo to show up, and then we proceed. Actually, she's here in US. She's visiting United States these days. So I think we will not have any problem with the network, something like that. So just be patient. We'll get on the top of this. Well, Bol Suzanne, she's going to answer the question, and I believe she will be able, you know, to elaborate on that. So I don't want to rush to the conclusion. She will be here, like I said, and she will answer questions. So we'll be okay. Of course, I am a salam lon legend, you know, Jongkor Matiang, the late. Thank you. I know, my brother. I welcome you on board one more time, you know, viewers of concerned citizens of South Sudan. I know that it is 9:20 right now in Juba, and those who are waiting actually in South Sudan today, they have an opportunity, you know, if they have a proper network, if they want to contribute, they want to participate, they are highly welcome to participate tonight. Here we go. I do see that our guest is here, Suzanne Jambo. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on board at this moment. So let me do this. So if you push the green button, it would be so appreciated, Suzanne Jambo. If not, and then I can try my technique here to bring you on board as well. Great.
Salamat.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it looked like
we
echo right there.
Echo right there.
Do you have a device?
Can you just talk? How about now?
Okay, that
sounds good.
But
I maybe it's your end because I don't have anything here. Oh, maybe my laptop? Would that be?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay, just a second. Just a second. How about now?
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's leave it because there's no way. I don't know why.
It's
No
maybe
problem.
no problem. The new gadget or something.
Yes.
Yes.
Suzanne tonight with us, the new leader party. So we will go through and have some questions. But first, I want you to tell our viewers. I know that you a second on the SPLM. So go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, my brother and comrade Jongkor, for inviting me today. I have been following Concerned Citizen for quite some time, and I think it's a great platform and somewhat of a forum, a August forum, you know, where people converge and meet and opinions are shared, especially in the evolving events of South Sudan. We really need one another to share information, so we will combine our heads together. Having said that, I also would like to thank all the viewers and the people who have availed their time today to be with us here today. And I'm going to be, I promise I will be frank and honest and patriotic at the same time. So saying that, my name is Suzanne Jambo. Salamat to everybody, and your sister in the first place, a fellow patriot. And yes, I've been in the SPLM exactly, 2018 is exactly 20 years. So 20 years since 1998. My official assignment was August 1998, the first assignment I had. And here, I'm still here. And 2017, January, I declared leaving SPLM, sadly, because it was too difficult to reform it and all that. So I decided to start a peaceful movement called South Sudan Steps Towards Peace and Democracy, or shortly known as STEPS, because South Sudan needs to go through the right steps to get to where it's supposed to be as a nation. حزب الخطوات، لأنه الجنوب محتاج حزب سلمي، محتاج لسلام ومحتاج للكالتشر بتاع السلام، وفي نفس الوقت يعني بالخطوات الصح، يعني قبل ما ننط في راس الركوبة ولا راس البيت before we jump to the roof. So that's why it is known like that philosophically. And وأنا اشتغلت في SPLM كتير 20 سنة من 1998 1998 وأساينمنت بتاعي الأول كان اللي هو مستشار بتاع مؤتمر المرأة الأول في أغسطس في نيوكوش 1998. ده المؤتمر الأخير اللي حصل، مش الأخير بتاع القضاء أو آخر واحد، برضه كان أساينمنت في 1999. أنا كنت كوميشنر فوقه مع المرحوم دكتور جونكر، هو كان عيننا. فالمؤتمر بتاع النسوان ده هو الجاب 700 delegates including chiefs, women leaders from all over New Sudan that time, including Nuba Mountains and Blue Nile. وجينا في نيوكوش that is where we deliberated the demand for 25% affirmative action for women. I myself drafted the policy. I was asked by the former Secretary General بتاع Gender and Childcare مرحوم مكازية لينوا to draft the policy, which I did. And then it was later on adopted at the NLC in December 1998 unanimously, and it became the policy. And I was also fortunate enough to have been one of the commissioners of the first constitution for South Sudan, for the one we drafted for the CPA, and that governed South Sudan between 2005 until 2011. So I was a commissioner in that at the appointment of the late Dr. Jongkor وكده. فأنا عملت حاجات كتير بعد ذاك. من الحاجات اللي عملناه كان في نيوكوش في أبريل 1999 عملنا المؤتمر بتاع القضاء مع مولانا سامويل دونغ، مولانا جوزيف أغوت الله يرحمه and other people, you know. فمولانا جاوين برضو كان معانا في المؤتمر، فنحن كنا كلنا كوميشنر مع مكوي كان التشيرمان بتاعنا مولانا مكوي. فأنا كنت المرأة الوحيدة، نحن 5 أعضاء عملنا الكلام كله الشغل.
You mean Michael?
Michael مكوي الوقت. Yeah, he was our chairman of the committee. And then الأعضاء كنت أنا، وأنا كنت السكرتيرة. بعدين مولانا جاوين was there. And then اسمه منو ده روبرت لادو. And there was another person, I forgot what the name was, but احنا كنا 5 في التنظيم، نظمنا المؤتمر كله وعملنا الشغل كله. فبعد ذاك طبعا يا هو كمان parallel to that, the late Dr. John appointed me also as a delegate in the main negotiating team. What we call the revival of the peace talks, which happened through the IGAD Secretariat في نيروبي لغاية ما مضينا CPA. فأنا كنت المرة الوحيدة في المحادثات. I was the only woman representing the women, the youth, and the civil society at that point. أنا كنت طبعا 23 years old، فالتيكت كتير كان على راسي. that's how I started الشغل بتاعي في المحادثات، وكنا عملنا البوليتيكال فريم ورك. أنا كنت نمرة 10 في المين ديليجيشن، نمرة 10 آخر زول. مرحوم سامسون كواجي was just ahead of me on the list of the 10 members of the peace negotiation. اللي بعد ذاك عملوا الكوميتيز الثانية، التكنيكال committees اللي هو بتاع wealth sharing, power sharing and all that. But we were the main delegates to all the main meetings. حتى السيمبوزيوم بتاع BA Nuba Mountains and South Kordofan, I was also a member there in Nairobi also. مع الدكتور مرحوم دكتور جوني هو كان عمل التعيين، وكان معانا أنكو الله يرحمه ريفرند فيليب عباس غبوش، وده مرحوم يوسف كوا ومالك أجار and so forth. حتى دينغالور we were all there in that symposium where the protocols, the 3 protocols were signed. And I also accompanied the late Dr. John into 7 countries around the world, the first SPLM highest visit outside South Sudan, including the White House and Norway, where he met Hilda Johnson at the Norwegian People Said NPA 60th anniversary. في September 1999 كان ده تم 60 سنة من Norwegian People's Aid was formed in Norway. وطبعا NPA was very instrumental عشان يقرب الجنوب مع نوروي العلاقة. فدكتور جون كان was the guest of honor, and the former Secretary General Joseph Hala, he was the Secretary General. فمشينا هناك ومشينا ليبيا، قابلنا غدافي حسني مبارك في مصر وبسانيو في نيجيريا and so forth and so on. that's some of the things I did, and يعني وفي شغل كتير تانيين ما بذكره ذاته. these are some of the highlights. that exposed me to the foreign relations properly. That 7 countries in like 3 months. حتى مشينا في مولد بتاع African Union، ميلاد بتاع African Union في ليبيا في سبتمبر 1999 لما كان African Union was known as Organization of African Unity OAU. فمعمر قدافي the leader called all African heads of states.
Yes.
فنادى الدكتور جون الله يرحمه، فنحن مشينا معه. وفي السرت في مدينة السرت يهو تم declaration بتاع African Union AU, the one we know today. So we were honored to be there as SPLM as observers, not as delegate of course، لأنه نحن ما كان عندنا entity زمن ذاك. فالمهم الأمور مشت. ف 2005 بعد ما دينا CPA، the truth is الجنة بتاعي كان صغير. أنا I was driving between Nairobi and Naivasha and Machakos every day, I was heavily pregnant. فولدت الجنة بس بتلتلة كده because we had the commitment في محادثات السلام. في 2005 my baby was 2.5 years old. فأنا قلت لمرحوم دكتور جون قبل ما الله يرحمه قبل ما يموت يمكن 4 يوم أنا مشيت قابلته في البيت في نيروبي. It was a Tuesday sorry. أنا مشيت اعتذرت له. هو كان عنده بلان على إنه اسم بتاعي دخلوه على إنه I should have been a minister either in Juba or Khartoum. فأنا I went to him and I declined. I told him شوف أنا شلت الجنة بتاعي، قلت له شوف الجنة بتاعي قدر كيف يا دكتور. I really need to focus on family now. لأنه أنا قربت إنه الجنة كان في شارع يعني ده مسافة إنه شوارع بتاع أفريقيا roads of Africa are not easy. I was traveling back and forth. When we gave the birth to the CPA, I said it's time also to take care of my child and my family. So, and then I said strategically, so Dr. John قلت له في البيت ماما ربيكا كان موجودة هناك. أنا قلت كمان ما نخط كل بيت بتاعنا في إكس في باسكت بتاع إكس يكون في باسكت واحد. بيت بتاعنا ما نخط كله في باسكت واحد. فأنا قلت to excuse me عشان أنا أواصل مع المجتمع المدني. لأنه while I was in the SPLM شغل بتاع SPLM زمان طبعا كان voluntary work. فأنت ممكن تعمل حاجات تانية to make ends meet وكده. فأنا كنت شغال مع منظمات محلية يعني أنا سبت المنظمات اللي كنت شغال مع يونيسف، لكن يا دكتور جون لما ناداني في الحركة الشعبية أنا خلاص سبت يونيسف. وطبعا ما ممكن تشتغل مع حركة سياسية أو عسكرية وتكون شغال مع يونيسف، ده ضد القانون بتاعهم. It's not allowed.
Correct.
فكنت بساعد منظمات محلية وبالذات المنظمات بتاع نسوان. I was working a lot وكده. فأنا كلمت مع دكتور جون كده وهو فهم الكلام ده كويس. قال لي that's a very good idea سوزان، كومر سوزان، إنه أنت تواصل بطريقة independent، لأنه حيكون السكة بتاعنا حيكون ملكلك بعدين في CPA. I opted out of being part of government in 2005. I focused on the family, and I was working back and forth with the indigenous NGOs in different parts of South Sudan. Yeah, in 2008, I was called by the SPLM, and I was told that I was needed to come and form the first Secretariat for External Relations, the official one during the CPA. So to help link SPLM with the other political parties inside the South Sudan. The constitution بتاع SPLM في 3 بنود بالنسبة للسكرتاري بتاع external relations. One is to link SPLM with like-minded political parties inside Sudan, because نحن كنا زمان داك Sudan واحد, and outside Sudan. Then the second one, to link SPLM with foreign governments, because SPLM was the ruling party and we did not have a foreign ministry. And the third one, to organize the diaspora. فأنا كنت شغالة في 3 بنود ديل وكونت اللجنة بتاعت السكرتارية كله، حتى الدايركتورز الديبيتيز كله. عملت recommendation. طبعا الزمن ذاك السكرتاري جنرال بتاعنا كان كومريد باغانا موم. ففي 2008 نحن أخذنا القسم. we took oath في نوفمبر 2008. وطوالي أنا بديت بأجريسيف فورين ريليشنز مع نرويج بالذات، الدول اللي نحن كانوا معانا في solidarity زمن الحرب. I wanted to work very hard to make sure we have them on our side, because we knew that the referendum was coming. We needed them to stand by us, the outcome. For foreign relations مع East Africa was back and forth مع نرويج، وحتى العلاقات مع الأحزاب. فأنتوا لو بتتذكروا في مؤتمر اسمه مؤتمر جوبا في أكتوبر 2009 أنا اشتغلت فوقه شديد. ده من الحاجات اللي أنا اشتغلت فوقه شديد. I brought the proposal and looked for funds for it. زمن داك طبعا الثقة في SPLM بقى كان بطال. يعني قال SPLM ده بقى حزب بتاع سرقات ونهب. This is what all the donors were talking about in 2008. So I told them خلاص انتوا تعملوا المؤتمر، انا البادجت بتاعه $136,000. فانا قلت لهم القروش ما تدوا لنا نحن في SPLM، انتوا ادوا لي الهوتيلات والطيارات اللي حتجيب الناس. فعملنا كوميتيات في الخرطوم. Honorable Mubarak al-Fadil was very instrumental in the helping of the organization from Khartoum side, and he helped me a lot to secure meetings with the DUP leader المرغني والأمة بارتي صادق المهدي والمرحوم دكتور الترابي. When we secured them completely, then we brought them to Juba. For the first time, Sadiq al-Mahdi, in all the time he has been twice Prime Minister of Sudan, he's never stepped into Juba until that time. That was October 2009. Somebody came from the DUP. Marghani did not come, but Turabi came to Juba for the first time also. He had only been to Wau before, but he had not been to Juba before. So that was the achievement I did, because sadly, the SPLM, when we arrived at the CPA 2005, SPLM took a bit of a holiday. SPLM decided, you know what, and هنا خلاص وصلنا وبقى ما في political activism. For 2008, when I took up the Secretariat for External Relations, I decided to put SPLM back at the center of politics, because 2005, when we signed the CPA, all Sudanese, Northern and South Sudanese, had hopes in Dr. John, in his leadership, and in the SPLM to liberate the whole of Sudan from oppression and dictatorship. Sadly, SPLM got with stealing. هم بيبقوا مشغولين جدا بالسرقات والحاجات دي كلها. فبدل نعمل شغل سياسي بقينا نسرقه. that مؤتمر was very important for a number of things. If you look at the theme of the conference, it was called, I called it deliberately, and I went on my knees. I prayed the Northerners will not object to it, towards the full implementation of the CPA. Because in 1999, former Prime Minister Sadiq al-Mahdi met with Dr. John in Kampala for 9 hours. And he, at the end of it, said, we do not accept any peace agreement that you guys will sign, because it shall be between you and the NCP. But we, the northern political parties, are not part of it. So as a result of that, when we signed the CPA in 2005, all the northern political parties disowned the CPA. But they said it was not a national document. They said that was a partisan document between two partners, SPLM and the NCP, National Congress, National Congress Party. So I needed to lobby, because I knew we had a history of Addis Ababa agreement, where Nimeri one day, well, was a very small girl, but I heard this from my uncles, my family, and also, of course, from history books, that Nimeri tore the Addis Ababa agreement and said this is not the Bible or the Quran. There was no Bible or no Quran. So I was fearing the same thing would happen to our CPA. وطبعا حسن دكتور جون كمان الله يرحمه مشى. فبقى مشكلة يعني أساسا حتى الأوريجينال signatory من SPLM side had passed away tragically. I feared on technicality basis we may be disowned, the CPA. So I had to work back to back to convince the northern political parties to buy into the agenda, and we had to do a win-win compromise. So into الأحزاب الشمالية الأولوية بتاعكم شنو؟ هم قالوا دايرين reforms في economy والإصلاح في الاقتصاد ودايرين حرية التعبير والميديا. That's what they asked. They wanted freedom of media and speech and all that. فأنا خلاص دخلت البنودات دي بالنسبة لهم دي من discussions we were going to discuss. And then بالنسبة لنا احنا كجنوبين towards the full implementation of the CPA. So the Juba Declaration of October 2009, the conference was called towards the full implementation of the CPA, which implied that the CPA has finally become a national document, because we had the DOP, the Umma Party, and the Communist Party as well. Ustaz Allah yarhamu بتاع الحزب الشيوعي ده, I forgot his name now, but he was Ibrahim Nugut. Yeah, Ibrahim Nugut was with us there. And of course, Turabi also, Allah yarhamu برضو, was there. Turabi actually was driven in my car. You know, in Juba, he was being driven in my car. I stepped aside for it. I was using other means. And then I volunteered my car so that Sheikh Hassan Turabi was being driven in my car in Juba, the official car that I was given by SPLM. So this helped us to make the document national. المسودة بتاعت CPA, الdocument بتاع CPA بقى national document. The second achievement we did through that, those of Maulana Makwe, who was the chairman of the Referendum Act, were going back and forth Khartoum without any success. Up to October 2009, لأنه الشماليين كانوا ما دارين يمضوا الريفرندم أكت. فلفونا مرة يقولوا شولة، يقولوا كوما، فول ستوب، تعديل هنا ولكلكة. من 2007 ناس شغالين في دوكيمنت ده وهم ما دارين هنا. فالمظاهرات بدت في خرطوم. If you remember, October, November, December 2009, مظاهرات في خرطوم. حتى those of Yasser Arman were beaten and arrested, and I think Comrade Pagan was there at some point. They were, I think if you remember that was as a result of the Juba conference, because Shamalin went from Juba fully empowered, because they knew now SPLM was at the center of politics. So when this happened, I remember exactly towards 20th thereabout of December 2009, the Comrade Chairman of the SPLM, Rais Salva Kiir, was called by Bashir. My people, they want to overthrow me, وكده وشنو والحاجات ده كله. But he said, can you stop this SPLM of yours from making noise, because it's causing a lot of people to come to the streets. فقام Comrade Salva قال له خلاص أنا عندي شرط بتاعي. I have my condition. طبعا نحن عندنا خوف كان, according to the CPA calendar, by January 2010, if we did not sure to have the Referendum Act to be passed, then we were going to run into a serious problem, because January 2010, which is 3 months or so before the general elections, a national parliament was going to be dissolved. National parliament was going to be dissolved. So if the national parliament was going to be dissolved, that means those people who were witnesses to the CPA will no longer be obliged and obligated by the CPA. So we feared the new parliament in Khartoum may change its mind as far as the Referendum Act is concerned. فيا طوالي قام رئيس البكير قال لبشير قال له you must make sure the passing of the Referendum Act before January 2010 قبل ما الانتخابات تجي. And that was done deal. بشير طوالي عمل extraordinary session والناس passed the Referendum Act. So this was the second success of the conference of the Juba All Sudanese Political Parties Conference, APPC. That was the conference was called. So نحن أنقذنا الريفرندم بهذا الأسلوب in terms of legality. فبعد ذاك مشينا توالي لساوث أفريقيا with this the former foreign minister Dr. Mustafa was representing Khartoum other delegates from the NCP ومن SPLM, myself, those of Nial and others. We went to South Africa to do the very last drawing of the scenarios, because نحن كنا خايفين again إنه what you call it a referendum outcome may be rejected by Khartoum. So we had to go, and the world was monitoring that seminar in South Africa in Pretoria, where we sat for about 4 or 5 days just before Christmas. In fact, on the 24th is when we were coming, the 24th December 2009, we were coming back from South Africa, having drawn up all the scenarios and gave it to the Troika countries to be on standby, and the African Union to be on standby in case of anything happens. I was doing that all the while, of course, while also helping our diaspora to organize the different committees to hold elections, so that the new office bearers in 2010 would be able to help the people to go through the general elections in 2010 as well as the referendum. So I was also dialoguing with the International Organization of Movement, IO, to make sure that we had centers all over the world. So I was also doing that behind the scenes with the International IO. That's another aspect. The other aspect, of course, Comrade Salva also asked me to be a director of communication for his campaigns as the SPLM chairman, the flag bearer during the elections. So all his interviews with international media such as BBC, Hard Talk, and with Zainab Badawi and other people, I also helped organize all these things. So these are the things we were doing throughout, and of course, travels and convincing the world community that you must overlook the weaknesses within SPLM. We need you to walk with us in this journey so that we cross the river. Because the worst case scenario is when Junubin feel betrayed on their referendum, and we would all of us go to war, including old mothers. That's what even old women were saying. This time, if anything happens to our referendum, we will even go to war. We have never gone to war as women, but we are going to go to war. That's what the women were saying. So that's how we sailed through, alhamdulillah. And then my last assignment on that level was representing the SPLM, the political party, the ruling party, at the government of South Sudan task force formation. Our chairman was Dr. Riek Machar. We were appointed by the president of South Sudan to form the different ministries that will make the government of South Sudan after the referendum outcome, when we become independent as a country. So we looked through all the policies and all the things, and as a ruling party, the representative myself, I was appointed by the political bureau. I was also going through all the documents and papers that we will sail through to the new nation, including even overseeing the name of the republic, the national anthem, and all these things which was being done by other committees, of course, but we were overseeing that, making sure that it went to the aspirations of our people. يعني حتى العلم والنشيد الوطني وكده ده كله أنا كنت الممثلة البارتي SPLM في government of South Sudan task force اللي هو كان دكتور رياك مشار was the chairman appointed by President Kiir to put together يعمل سوا الحكومة اللي حتكون ترفع العلم يكون عندنا حكومة مجهز. دي من تجهيزات طبعا بتاعت الدولة. We had to be ready. We had to be ready to declare a republic. But then also on the side, I was also as foreign secretary, I sat with a small committee and احنا اتفاكرنا و I helped draft البوليسي بتاع foreign affairs. فالحكومة كان ما عندنا foreign affairs، كان عندنا regional ministry، يعني وزارة إقليمية اللي هي بتهتم بشؤون الدول المجاورة، لكن ما كان يعني على مستوى international، لأنه كان في الخرطوم. In Khartoum we had the foreign ministry. But of course we all knew اللون بتاع الفورين مينستري بتاع الخرطوم إسلامي عربي ما أفريقي. فنحن we had to do things through SPLM. So that's what I was doing all the while مع الحكومات الأجنبية. بعدين السياسة الخارجية which أنا قدمته لكونغو دينغالور بفلاش ديسك USB as well as the hard copy. أنا سلمته له في شهر 3 2011. I gave it to him because as the ruling party, this was the policy that should be for South Sudan when we gain our independence, including the army, the definition of what is an army and all that, you know. So all these things, because we had to be prepared by all means and definition as a republic, you know. The foreign policy must reflect the different organs, sovereign organs that represent the pillars of a state, judiciary and all of that, and the army and all that. So this is what I achieved officially as landmark work. Other things, of course, بعد البريك بتاع الوار 2013, I also was nominated to represent SPLM في كل المحادثات في أديس وفي بحر دار. فأنا كنت بالتيكت بتاع SPLM. فلما يكونوا نادونا كأحزاب مع those of like Dr. Lamakol, Gabriel Changsan, and all of that, when they call us for meetings by the IGAD Secretariat, I would be also called to represent SPLM in all those meetings in Ethiopia and Bahar Dar. لكن طبعا the main meetings were being done by the actual government gross, what we call government of the Republic of South Sudan. This was their work. But however, I was being asked whenever there was political work. So that is من الحاجات اللي عملناه. وآخر نتيجة أنا عملت شغل أنا عملته ياهو في شهر 1 و2 أن إحنا قمنا لأمريكا. I headed a delegation to America. One, to supervise and oversee the election, the contentious election that was dividing the SPLM في US زمن ذاك. But then also to help build or rebuild our foreign relations مع الحكومة الأمريكية، لأنه by that point نحن كان علاقاتنا زيرو. خلاص بقى بعد الحرب يعني ما معروف مرة مع فلان مرة مع حوش، يعني they were just being confused all over the place. So I tried to go and rescue whatever I could. ونحن قابلنا مع بعض الحكام الجوفرنس بتاعنا يعني two places. I remember meeting with 2 of them who were like and احنا when you guys were in war we stood by you. لما انتوا مسكتوا الحكومة انتوا نسيتونا. وده نفس الحاجة اللي برضو قالوها لنا. We were told to Kir by the Botswana president and that of South Africa and other ones when I also facilitated for a meeting of 6 African states, Southern African states, عشان كله تجهيزات. It was all preparation for the referendum. So in November 2009 أنا شلت مش دكتور سوري كومراد سالفا كير لساذرن أفريكا. مشينا حتى مع كومراد باغانا موم and other people. I organized all that with the ANC and other places, and so we went to all those countries, including مشينا قابلنا Uncle Bob اسمه sorry ZANU PF in Zimbabwe، وقابلنا برضو هايلة سلاسي مريم هناك، مش هايلة سلاسي منجستو هايلة مريم، لقيناه برضو هناك مشينا سلمنا عليه وشكرناه على الوقوف بتاعه معانا زمن هو كان رئيس وزراء بتاع اثيوبيا. يعني احنا مشينا كSPLM ما مشينا كحكومه لكن مشينا كSPLM. So these are some of the things and احنا we did during اسمه شنو بالنسبه للنهايه من ناحيه بتاع الشغل بتاع الخارجيه، لانه الحزب طبعا مقسم لاجزاء، ففي ناس داخليا بيشتغلوا political work inside South Sudan، في ناس women affairs، في ناس منو. So my work was with الخارجيه and I was following the constitutional work that I did. وطبعا الانقسامات اللي حصلت كثيره، وانا جيت اختلفت مع كومراد سالفا في 2016 للموقف اللي هو اخذه بالنسبه لمعالجه الحرب في الجنوب. So the way he was handling the war in South Sudan, I was more of dialogue and peace, and that is what I tried to talk with him. And he told me, Suzanne, the only way we do this is these people carrying guns, we have to deal with them with guns. And I told him, Comrade Salva, this will not take us far. And I'm sorry because even SPLM is dying, the South is dying, the country is dying as a result of this. And I said, I cannot continue like this. So I opted out. صح هو قبليه بسنة كان في ريشافل في السكرتارية في 2015 and my name was left out, but he had promised me something and I was waiting on that. But أنا اختلفت معاه categorically في الissue بتاع the way he was handling the war situation. So that was my last meeting with him, 25th October 2016. لا آخر اجتماع أنا عملته معه واختلفت معه sharply over that issue, and I walked out of that and I said, until you come to your senses as a president and a leader of this nation to approach the war in South Sudan through dialogue. إنه الحرب لازم يتموا عن طريق النقاش السلمي. Then until then, I have nothing to do with him as my leader. This is what I told him, and I stormed out. And he recalls that, I'm sure, very well. So from that time, I took almost 3 months, اللي هو November, December, and January 2017, when I openly declared through a video إنه I'm no longer with the SPLM, because I also thought SPLM فوقه نزاعات كتير. It was divided into so many. يعني SPLM in government, SPLM IO, بعدين SPLM G10. فأنا قلت ده جوطة. يعني أنت ما بتعرف تبدأ وما ممكن أن إحنا البلد the country can be held at ransom because of few corners. SPLM itself ما عنده مشكلة. The vision of SPLM ما عنده مشكلة. But the owners of SPLM, the various owners of SPLM is the problem. So I decided جنوب cannot be held at ransom. واتكاتفنا مع ناس اتفاكرنا. We've been discussing with our colleagues and ناس frustrated like me patriotic جنوبين, and we said we need to start a peaceful movement that is a people's movement and driven by the youth who are competent, because we need to change the leadership in South Sudan into a youthful one that is competent and that is patriotic and national. ما في قبلية فوق وبتاع. فعشان كده ب 23rd October 2017, I declared the formation of the new political party, South Sudan Steps. ده في 2017.
So now,
Suzanne Jambo, thank you so much for
the big
contribution that you contributed to our country. I apologize because the echo, I cannot control it. It might go away later.
So thank
you for your contribution one more time. And
you have done
so well within the SPLM party. So people, they were asking why SPLM do this by itself.
But
we are all aware that SPLM, we all supported the SPLM by default that time, because they were the one that safeguarded South Sudan. That's something that we should keep in our mind.
Now,
since you already explained what happened in the SPLM party, why you left, I'm not going to ask you the question why you left SPLM.
So
my question would be,
what is the vision
of STEP?
What do you
want to do? The vision of your party,
and also, were you part
of
peace
revitalization that led to
the late
agreement?
Yeah, I mean, there are two dimensions to that, but I will go to the vision of the steps. The vision of steps is to pacify South Sudan into a peaceful nation. A peaceful nation from a war and conflict-prone nation into a peaceful nation. الرؤية بتاع steps هي إنه تحويل الفكر الجنوبي من فكر عنفي وعسكري إلى فكر سلمي, civilian rule. دي الرؤية بتاعت steps. وبنعمل الكلام ده, we do this thing through a competent democratic leadership. We introduce the concepts of democracy and basic human rights, etc., where freedoms, sorry, not human rights, but freedoms. Of course, human rights is embodied in basic freedoms. اللي هو freedom of expression, freedom of association, assembly, حرية التعبير والاجتماعات وكده. فده الرؤية بتاع هنا. وبعدين it is an inclusive vision, meaning the We 64. One of the slogans we have is نحن ال 64, We 64. And of course, that figure is not static. It's not. It's the symbol of it. It means inclusivity, but the figure itself is not stagnant. ال 64 ده ما قاعد في حجر. And إحنا كل ما when we get into peace and stability, we're going to know how many we are as South Sudanese tribes. But the issue is nationhood through inclusivity. we cannot achieve the nationhood الوطنية أو الوطن ما لم أن إحنا نعمله inclusivity بين الشعب، يكون في كل الناس موجودة وتحس إنه we are one and one people by all means, and of course based on meritocracy اللي هو competency، يعني the right person in the right place. فده البلورة بتاعت الرؤية. This is more or less the vision of steps: peaceful, inclusive, and the competency, because دي الحاجات اللي نحن ناقص. These are the three elements we really missing in the quality of leadership in various levels, from national to the state level. We do not have that, and this is what we need to introduce to our country. أما بالنسبة the second question that you're talking about, whether we contributed to the revitalized agreement, not directly. However, we influenced it hugely. STEPS has been fortunate to have had series of consultative meetings with the leadership in its varied forms, and we submitted different public statements, press releases, and to the secretariat, the IGAD secretariat, and we've had series of meetings also with the Troika country members, اللي هو USA, United States of America, UK, Norway. So we've had series of meetings with both political parties, governments, as well as civil society of these countries to influence the process, and IGAD countries. So STEPS has been quite instrumental in terms of advocacy and lobby in an organized manner with articulated issues. فده الشغل اللي نعمله. لكن otherwise STEPS is not a signatory to the peace agreement. Yeah, we are not signatory. We tried, we wrote to the IGAD secretariat. I started writing to the IGAD secretariat from as early as March 2018. After 3 months of our formation and registration, and إحنا يا دوب كان سجلنا في شهر 10 سنة to October 2017. By 3 months, I started writing aggressively to IGAD secretariat, and I got all sorts of emails from them, and they said, well, you have to align yourself with one of the armed groups. And I said, that contradicts our vision. We are a peaceful movement. We cannot align ourselves with any armed group. We refused that, and I wrote to them categorically. We said we cannot do that, and as a result of that, we got locked out from the IGAD secretariat to invite us into the meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Now my next
here.
Do you see any room for the hybrid court under this peace deal, giving that the cultural impunity under the leadership of President Salva Kiir?
Bro Tong William, sorry, somebody called Tong William. Where is she from? Yeah, Bro Tong William, you better change that language. إنت غير اللغة بتاعك ده يا أخوي. إنت أنا بسألك إنت من وين هسه؟ في زول بسألك إنت من وين؟ This the language, and هنا we must shun away, my brother. Tong William, whoever you are, إنت ما يا وزير immigration ولا سيد البلد براك. We are all جنوبين, and that is our country. Let me tell you that and get it right. أنا from Equatoria, and Equatoria is from South Sudan. أنت عارف كلام ده. Let's move on. So yeah.
Actually, I can make a comment on that.
Yeah.
I have been telling people, you don't look to the color skin of the human, and then the color skin of human doesn't determine where you're from. I have been criticized in many ways. People have been saying that, oh, Jongkor wife actually she's a Jamaican. Oh, she's an Arab. Oh, she's an American. But actually, it's not true. My wife is from Gogyal, the home of Salva Kiir Mayadi. So the notion that she has light skin, it doesn't make you not from South Sudan. So we need to be mindful, yeah, Jamal. Remember that.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
No, but when you see the way أنا بعالج المشكلة كيف, my brother, not only the issue of color of skin, but the entitlement that some people think that whom عندهم right to ask and to decide your origin. And that is wrong. شفت كيف ده البرنسبل البطال هنا. يعني people must إنه يعرفوا إنه حق الوطنية is for all جنوبين. السيادة الوطنية is for all South Sudanese. Get that one right, and nobody is more South Sudanese than another. كلنا جنوبين and إحنا we all South Sudanese. لأنه بيحصل حتى للدارك سكين, my brother Jongkor. حتى للدارك سكين انت كان تالي من محل تاني بقول لك انت جنوبي سيجد جد. ففي حاجات كده بيحصل, and this we must stop it. We must stop it if we really want to move forward peacefully together as جنوبين. Anyways, back to your question. You were asking me sorry again, the issue of, sorry, if you repeat the question.
I can repeat. Do you see any room for hybrid court under this peace deal, giving the culture of complete impunity under the leadership of President?
Yeah. Let me tell you something, my brother. If you look at the nature of the whole thing, is about appeasement. You know that the peace agreement itself has not addressed the root cause of the conflict. الاتفاقية ما شملت العروق المشكلة شنو المشاكل بيناتنا نحن في جنوب شنو فحلوها كيف بانه خدوا وظائف للناس ادوا وظائف ده يكون فيرست فايس بريزيدنت وده يكون 5 نواب والى اخره والى اخره ولغايه الولايات و40% و5% و10%. So what happened is appeasement, allotment of by percentages to certain people and individuals, and even you can literally see the position is for who and all that kind of thing. So it is appeasement. That nature is where the problem is with us in South Sudan. It's what is creating the culture of impunity. It is really where it's creating the culture, because we're recycling the same people over and over again. Now, on one side of the scale, it is that problem. On another side of the scale is the lives of the innocent people. So the same like what people say that, but it was Bashir who has been our enemy all this time, and this time he has become the peacemaker. So when you look at all Junubin and the way how Junubin have turned out at the celebrations in Juba, you can see Junubin are crying for peace. People are tired. People are hungry, are sick, and people are tired. نحن تعبانين. الناس قاعدين يعجزوا في الغربة. عيالنا قاعدين يعجزوا ذات وقاعدين يكبروا في الغربة. Really, people are tired. So if peace comes from the devil, if he or she says it's peace, it is welcome gesture. If the devils are recycled in the government in various capacities, from the highest to the lowest, in the middle and all that, it is peace. If it means them they're going to slow the gun, it is peace. Let us save the ones who are alive, then add to the ones who have died. So that's the issue. Now, the culture of impunity. This culture of impunity must be fully addressed as part of the implementation of the peace agreement. We have to lobby, as Junubin, we have to lobby on the culture of impunity vis-a-vis those who committed gross violations, الناس اللي انتهكوا وقتلوا ناس في الجنوب, and those who misappropriated our money. في 2 اختراقات حصلت في الكالتشر بتاع الامبيونيتي. يعني زول في evidence عنه هو سرق كذا مليون دولار. But he or she is being put in government again. Somebody whom even witnesses came forward and said this general or this fulan was responsible for the killings of thousands of people. But he or she is recycled into another post within government or within the army, whatsoever. So this culture is something that we have to resolve gradually. We must begin to talk about it. It is an agenda for all of us. And I would urge also concerned citizens and all of us, even as STEPS and other political parties, we must begin to speak about it as a way forward. Because deterrence must begin today. And it is one of the guarantees for the peace agreement, because people will know, for me to respect and implement this peace agreement, if I don't do that, I will be held accountable from now on. For as a means of deterrence, عشان نحن نوقفوا انتهاكات والسرقات والنهب وتحديد لنا يمكن يرجعونا في حرب any time تاني, let us cling on to that. And that's why I say, let us we advocate for the hybrid court. We must advocate for the hybrid court, because that is the only way to deter نوقف الناس دل من أي انتهاكات. ده على أقل حاجة. On the minimum side, this is what we will achieve, to deter them from any further taking the country into war or killing any more people and misappropriating, etc. That accountability must begin. And of course, on the higher side, we may be able to succeed in order to form this hybrid court and make sure that accountability for any past crimes to be addressed. But on the minimum side, at least deterrence, no more loss of innocent lives, because people are wimping like that. They just decide, Anna, let me go to war, Anna, let me provoke a war, let me create a war, and all that kind of thing. Also, we have a weakness within IGAD itself as a body. And this is now for the constitutional lawyers among us, for the lawyers, for the journalists, investigative journalists, and for all the experts, politicians, political scientists among us, must really begin to understand and untangle the whole instrument called the IGAD Secretariat. First of all, IGAD was formed in order to address issues of desertification in Africa. How did IGAD become a peace resolution outfit? Did they shift their dynamics within the institutional makeup؟ يعني التكوين الهيكل التكويني بتاع إيجا ذاته من عدم التصحر ولا شنو؟ التصحر لمحادثات سلام 200. يعني الحاجة دي ذاتها, this thing must be really untangled. Do they have their capacity? And when you look at it, even from a glance, you see that هم ما عندهم teeth. They don't have teething اللي هو what we call enforcement powers على انه هم يجوا بالصوت ولا يعملوا حاجه ويقولوا كده ويقولوا they can't because their own laws incapacitate them. They are not for that role. فدي حاجه نحن we really must begin working on because we can make demands but can they do it? And that is why always our people, they know this weakness. هم they know الضعف ده في الإيجاد, وعشان كده هنا بيلعبوا بالناس كله, ما خايفين من أي زول. They don't fear anybody. Unlike, you know, the one for West Africa, the group in West Africa, it has even military presence. It has a lot of other punishment mechanisms that we don't have in IGAD. That's why it's a weakling, you know, حاجة ضعيفة جدا في
ECOWAS.
ECOWAS, yeah, ECOWAS, the group. That's the word, yeah. So, that's the issue that we need to address scientifically and be able to, you know, because the mediating body itself does not have those instruments to punish and whatnot. And if you look at all the peace agreements that have been signed, have always been like that, weak in terms of accountability, in terms of punishment, and in terms of all of these things. So that's two dimensions, nationally and regionally, you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now moving to second question.
Yeah. I already question because you already answered it.
So
Yeah.
do you see
any risk
that this
peace
could
trigger
more
bloodshed
as it did
the following previous peace
in
in
2015?
2015?
Well, باختصار, in a summary, this question I was asked recently in Oslo, and I said, when I take a pen and I take a piece of paper and I put down the list of the risks, there is no chance. There is no chance that this piece will hold. But when I close my eyes and my ears, and I remember the faces of Anehna Junubin, how fed up we are, I see 101% risk, the implementation. شفت؟ يعني when I open my eyes and I put things with facts, once bitten, twice shy. لكلكة حصلت من 2016. So what will stop it from happening again? What is جد شنو زي ما بقولوا? What is new? ما في حاجة جديد فوقه, you know? Most likely by facts and by evidence, it will not work. But when you close your eyes and follow your spirit, how Junubin are fed up? Because really, as the new Ethiopian president, Madame Sahle, has said, she said, this peace agreement is unique this time because it is seen as a contract between the people of South Sudan and the warring parties. هي جمعت الجماعة دي كلهم حتى بالحكومة في كورنا إنه ديل الwarring parties والشعب الجنوبي. ده البيس اجريمنت ده الدورة دي قالت بين الانتيتيز الاثنين، بين الشعب الجنوبي ولنا. فده observation جاي من seasoned diplomat, senior seasoned diplomat. She has been observing and monitoring this in her capacities. For the way she spoke, she's very knowledgeable on the issues. فانت لو عرفت الكلام ده بتحس. عشان كده انا لما اغمض عيني واقفل اذاني انا بحس انه الباور now is ان احنا الجنوبيين. Again, and I urge all of us who are calling for peaceful resolution of our conflict and بطريقة justice ذاته just بعدالة, and I urge all of us to continue to remain vigilant. and احنا اقل حاجة we have to نضرب به زي ما بقولوا جرس كنيسة. We have to send the alarm bell over it, you know. We should not man it. This time we remain extra vigilant. وبعدين في حاجة تانية, I don't know if you noticed this, my brother, البودي language بتاع President Kiir Dr. Yak Mashar is very different this time. And I don't know, maybe I'm too trusting, I'm too biased, I have no idea. But I feel that the body language of the two leaders, and I took a picture, there's a picture that I saw, and I took it and I pointed it out, and كله ناس يعني I saw the reaction بتاع الناس قال يا جماعة دي لما تشوف سنونهم أول مرة يعني قاعدين يضحكوا من هنا لهناك ومسكوا يدهم تمام واعتذروا في اعتذار كده. انا شايف بالذات من كير لدكتور ياك يعني شفت كيف قال نحن صالحنا وبيأكد في الكلام ده حتى في السبيتش بتاعه كده.
Comrade Suzanne Jambo, Kir اعتذر قبل كده. This is the third time he tells the people of South Sudan. What makes this one unique, you know?
Well, if you look at the sentence, this time has two other additions. One is he says, as your president, I know the responsibility lies majorly on me. كير من يومه من ما أقول التك بقول والله ده فلان وده فلان وده فلان. You know هو بيقول أنا sorry لكن يقول لك قال أنا ما براي عملت كلام ده ما فلان ده وفلان ده. But this time he took the responsibility and said as your president the major responsibility lies on me. ودي الحاجة اللي أنا somebody like me I was waiting for the longest time because مهما كان انت شنو ولا مشاكل شنو انت كان رئيس الدولة المسؤولية الكبرى بيقع عليك انت. The biggest responsibility it befalls upon you as the leader of the country. شفت كيف؟ فأنا أول مرة أسمع منه ده. والحاجة الثانية برضو أضاف إنه on behalf of all the warring parties I apologize. فهو أخذ القلب الكبير زي ما نقوله باللغة العربية الدارجة يعني وسع قلبه واخذ الاعتذار ما بالانابه عن نفسه براء حكومه بتاعه لكن برضه بالانابه عن warring other parties for dragging us into this senseless nonsense of theirs. شفت كيف؟ فانا بشوف النقطتين دي الجديد بالنسبه انا I really hope ده تغيير في الشيفت في المايند ولا في السول because to admit those two big issues يعني it's a serious responsibility taking. That's the optimist in me. So we get to see and try again. زي ما بقولوا ونحن شايفين واقفين بأصابعنا. نحن الدور ده واقفين بأصابعنا زي ده. We are just standing like this time. So
I hope so. I hope you know it could be that way. So now an end question here. And one more time, I apologize to our viewers. I still have echo on my voice,
yeah.
but I will try to speak slowly. عشان تقدر تسمع question. Now, I have a question from Atilio Abu Yasmin. Is one of the great contributors to Concerned Citizens.
Okay.
Describe the relationship between President Kiir and Dr. Yak Machar has been described as frosty, and it will require time to compromise to make it work. Do you agree?
I don't agree with that. I would paraphrase it. I wouldn't say that. Actually, no. Actually, I do. It has been frosty. I wouldn't say it is frosty now. I would say it has been characterized as frosty. It has been, as frosty.
Well,
but it is
you think it has been characterized, but
yeah.
لكن هم أصلاً أنفسهم they were in that position. If you recall, Makoila said that President Kiir will never work with Dr. Yak Machar. You remember that? You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's what I'm saying. Huma al-Itnain, it has been characterized as frosty, but I wouldn't say it is now frosty. I would paraphrase that particular part. I would say it has been characterized as frosty, and I would say it is yet to be proven that it is cohesive and harmonious. This is where the part, and really 100%. We shall be monitoring. We will see whether it's going to go through because it has not been the best relationship of a president and his vice president. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So now my next question.
This is to answer to Brother Atilio.
Yes. That was answering to.
Yeah. Shukran, Brother Atilio.
So now I have another question here.
Sure,
You
brother.
spoke about the opposition, and you created your own party, and you are not part, or you are not secretary of revitalization. Now, if I may ask you this question, Comrade Suzanne Jambo, why not join alliances headed by General Thomas Cirillo? At least to prevent fragile position. We knew that because they were not united. That's why you see some are left out, some are there. They are not in one spirit. Why not join?
Well, as steps, first of all, we are a peaceful political party, so we have fully embraced the peace agreement. The position of General Thomas Cirillo is that of not embracing the peace agreement. So we categorically differ. We categorically differ in the approach. We, as steps, we have fully embraced the peace agreement, and we are going to develop strategies and modalities for monitoring, evaluating, and reporting on the progress of the implementation of the peace agreement. So we are going to act as custodian, just part and parcel of the greater population of South Sudan, to ensure that this peace agreement shall be implemented to the spirit and letter. So we shall develop strategies that shall monitor, evaluate, and report on the progress of the implementation of the peace agreement. So, because we believe that the only way to remove, to get rid of the old guards in South Sudan, be it President Kiir or Dr. Riek Machar, it shall be done only through the ballot, through democratic means, which this peace agreement provides for us in 2021 general elections. So it is our role as steps to ensure that basic freedoms are guaranteed to the people of South Sudan, basic humanitarian services, basic commitment to democratic principles and all this, and the peace, prevalence of peace. يكون في سلام في الدولة وديمقراطية وحريات. ده الواجب بتاعنا، ولأنه نحن بنؤمن إنه التغيير بتاع الحكومة الحالية في جنوب transitional government of South Sudan can only happen through democratic means اللي هو البالوتس في 2021.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, since you talk about the election, and on your video actually you show interest that you want to run for the presidency.
Yeah, sure.
Do you believe that election is going to take place in 2021? And if you are going to run for presidency and you won the election, what are you going to do different?
For one, just as I said earlier on, when you asked me, do you believe this peace agreement will sail through? When I look at all the facts in front of me, I'm very skeptic. When I close my eyes and ears and I just focus on the aspirations of the people of South Sudan, and especially as evidently manifested during the celebrations in Juba on the 31st of October, I see the people want peace. They have spoken loud and clear. They want peace. And we side with the people. We as steps, we side with the people. So we read the aspirations of the people of South Sudan and we follow them. We do not read our own individual thinking, but we read what the people want. So we're driven by the people desires, and that is why we have endorsed the peace agreement. We knew the people were fed up. We have people in the refugee camps in Uganda and Kenya. We also have people in Khartoum. We have people in Egypt and in South Sudan who all know how the people are suffering and they feel it. So that's how STEPS draws its mandate from the people. So having said that, the same thing with the scenario of elections. هل هيكون في انتخابات في 2021؟ ده نفس الإجابة بتاعه بكون زي نفس الإجابة. Will the peace agreement be implemented fully؟ نفس الإجابة. When you look at all the facts in front of you, you see إنه الelection may not happen. Just like it did not happen in 2015. مع إن نحن السيناريو الشقلبة في السيناريو بتاع البيس حصل من جولاي 2016. الخوف بتاعنا بتاع إنه البيس agreement will not be implemented because of the fracas that took place in 2016. The same thing, elections, will it happen, will it take place or not? We follow what happened in 2015. The election should have been there and it didn't take place. People will think there will be no elections. However, we shall exert every effort as STEPS political party that believes in peaceful agenda, peaceful change, and democratic change in South Sudan, we shall exert every effort to make sure that elections are held in a timely manner. Again, I will quote the Madam President Sahle of Ethiopia. She emphasized on 2 points very clearly. She said that the pre-interim period must start swiftly with all its agenda fully implemented so that the transitional period starts on time, and so that elections must be held in timely manner. She has categorically mentioned that in her speech, and she said she urged, as Ethiopia being the chair of IGAD, to ensure that this shall be the case. انا بشوف الكلام ده من المدام بتاع الرئيسه بتاع اثيوبيا لما هي قالت انه قبل الفتره الانتقاليه 6 شهور قبل الفتره الانتقاليه الشغل المفروض يتعمل فوقه يتعمل عشان الانتقاليه يبتدي طوالي بشهر 4 السنه الجاي وطوالي للانتخابات العموميه general elections. فده بيس على ذات and we are going to pin down presidents within the region. All their speeches, we have monitored them. We put down all the notes and all the commitment they urge themselves to fulfill. And we are going to follow up with all these people. حتى بعمر البشير اتكلم حاجات هو ذاته he has a responsibility as the major guarantor in this peace agreement to ensure that this shall be the case. فنحن ما حنخلوه في رقبة دكتور رياك مشار وكومريد سالفا كير president سالفا كير براو. No, and those of Uncle Gabriel Changsan and all these other people. No, we're going to make sure that we shall remain fully and evidently informed to ensure to pin these people down, to make sure that our elections are held. And of course, we're going to ensure to report also with like-minded organizations that the spirit of releasing for political detainees and the spirit لأنه President Kiir عنده في السبيتش بتاعه he categorically mentioned a few things. قال إنه حيكون في حرية عشان تشعروا بالسلام، أنت ممكن تتحرك من هنا، وحتى دكتور رياك مشار said the same. لما تطلع من تركيكا وتجي جوبا وتمشي لجوبا لتركيكا ما في زول يوقفك ويضربك ويشتمك ويكلم في داخل جوبا فيفا IO ما في زول يمسكه. For all these things and we're going to pin them all of them down in يوم كده انتوا قلتوا كده and you committed yourself to this thing. For when these things are put in place and implemented fully, naturally there will be elections in the country.
And what would you do differently as President Suzanne Jambo?
Oh, like I said, 3 things and we're anchoring on, which are very different from what has been. And we're committed to peaceful means. A whole paradigm shift in our thinking as Junubin. We must live as peaceful people. This is a country and a people that have yearned so much for peacefulness. All our lives we wanted peace. Many of us have died. Millions of us have died. We lost so many. If the rivers could speak, there is blood there. So we are introducing a whole new concept and culture of peace. Mean slogans, curriculum, to way of governance, to العمل العسكري, how our military shall behave itself, how our immigration, how our police shall behave itself, all shall be indoctrinated in the agenda of peace. South Sudan shall export peace to the world. And through steps, we're not only going to enjoy peace in South Sudan, but we're going to preach about peace because we are a people who have experienced war more than anybody else, and we have seen the absence of peace. We really know it. So if there is anybody who could talk about peace in this world, it is South Sudanese. We want to scientifically approach the whole concept of peace, not only to be implemented in South Sudan, but to the whole world agenda of peace. So that's very important. The second element is the issue of inclusivity. We as South Sudanese, and this is not only in terms of representation in government and all that only, but also in terms of equitable development in the country. So even in terms of agenda, in terms of programs, in terms of vision, the South Sudan as a nation shall be built on inclusivity, because we are a people who have been subjected to marginalization. and احنا عملوا لنا تهميش في الشمال، وده السبب اللي خلانا ان احنا كجنوبيين ان احنا to opt out للحريه بتاعتنا. فان احنا مفروض ما ندوسوا على اي زول. We should really be the guarantors of equality, equity, and justice more than anybody else. So through steps, we shall also introduce that as a concept, as a culture, and as programs and development. So the South Sudan will be developed equally in all corners of South Sudan with equity. So, and that of course will mean diversification of the economy itself. Yani agriculture, we're talking about health, we're talking about the land, we're talking about the waters, we're talking about minerals. We're not going to focus only like at the moment with 80% on oil. That is wrong. You cannot. Oil is perishable. And oil, the way we inherited the practice of its exploration in Greater Upper Nile has been wrongly done by the government of Sudan and its partners. They have polluted. There are rivers that have disappeared. People are dying from diseases and nobody speaks about it. Myself as Suzanne Jambo, I have been involved in oil activities from civil society, and I have reports that speak volume about how much damage women are aborting children. يعني في جهاد كثير حاصل في مناطق دي من النشاطات تاعت البترول وكده، فالزراعات ما قادره تقوم وحاجات كثير. So all these things and احنا we're going to do that. And of course competence, the right person in the right place. So many of our human resources are being wasted outside South Sudan and even demoralized inside South Sudan because people are putting incompetent people in places that they're not moving forward. One person could make a difference in a whole department, in a whole ministry, if he or she is the right person in that place. So, and we're going to make sure that there will be competence in South Sudan because we need to bring that nation into where the world is at. نحن ما عندنا excuse. In 13 years, South Sudan could have gone very far. لأنه أي شبر, every corner in South Sudan is gifted and endowed with things. ونحن شغلنا بسيط جدا بالمناسبة. We have very small work to do. You know, if you compare with studies about other countries, for countries like Dubai, which only has 3% of oil and no any other natural resource in the desert, but it's a prosperous country because of a stewardship of the sound leadership in the right places, you know. So, and having a vision and program and also studying other nations to bring technology to South Sudan, just like what Singapore and other countries and Dubai have done, and even Israel has done as well. So we're going to hit the ground running, as it were, with steps. That's how we're different. And of course, we are intolerant to tribalism. We're intolerant to corruption. We're intolerant to nepotism. We're intolerant to so many other bad governance issues. يعني القبلية ولا بتاع العائلة ده وشنو والcorruption يعني السرقة كل حاجة في جيب الناس وشنو ده حاجات كلها إن we're going to introduce في measures كثيرة في الفيسكال في الفاينانشال في الاتيتيود في الميليتاريزم culture of militarism في حاجات كثيرة جدا جدا. المواطن الجنوبي must walk tall with his and her head up without being told دنجر تهت وعمل كده وعمل كده. الاستفزاز اللي بيحصل للمواطن الجنوبي ده, we all have to eliminate a lot of things, but then we have to be humble as a people. يعني the party will have a lot of slogans to talk to the people, to walk the journey with the people, to make sure the people understand what it means to be peaceful as a person, because a lot of attitude can turn a person to go into غابة بدون أي سبب, just because of attitude. It's been happening in South Sudan. في correction كتير will happen in our country, so we all enjoy our country, and we shall all enjoy because there's a lot for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering the question.
Now, you spoke about
inclusivity.
I watched
Peace of President here, Young Machar, Museveni, and Omar al-Bashir as well. I didn't hear anything from President Kiir extending a hand to those who are still outside, such as Paul Malone, Thomas Cirillo, Hakim Darius, and also his steps.
Now,
he said those who are still out there, they need to find profession.
What does he mean?
He meant what he said, and it's very clear, you know, they need to find profession. However, أنا شفت في السبيتش بتاعه النقطة بتاعت إنه هو قال and peace agreement that is ongoing, and that it shall include they shall extend hands to those who have opted out. Juba shall be open for all that. I think that message is clear. The one I disagree probably, which I would like to highlight and share with you that I do not like, is his insistence on the national dialogue, that what he calls the national dialogue in progress. That one, He said as a strategy he would like to urge كل الناس المضوا الاتفاقية على إنهم يدخلوا في national dialogue. What he did not elaborate, perhaps maybe it is part of the agenda that he plans to elaborate at some point later on. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like what he did not elaborate, he did not say, and they are ready to dissolve that committee. And now, to ask all the political parties who signed the peace agreement to bring their delegates, who shall be also part with the delegate that the government will appoint to be part of the National Dialogue Committee. لأنه أنت عارف حاجة ركبوه something that is cooked and somebody done it elsewhere and all that, it's not going to taste the same like when we come and cook together, we know we have cooked it together. You understand? So as part of trust building, which is an integral, essential part of this peace agreement, which is trust building that shall be worked on very, very, very strongly, is to ensure that inclusion must be part and parcel of that National Dialogue Committee. So it's very important to hear that from President Kiir, and I would urge all the opposition parties who have signed the peace agreement, and for those of us who are being invited per the speech by Kiir on the 31st of October, is we shall insist that this must be the case, that the committee must be dissolved and a new committee shall be made, and perhaps they can use the formula of the percentages per the peace agreement that was signed or something like that. There should be a formula somehow that can be agreed upon. That is the only way that will guarantee inclusivity and flexibility within the current national dialogue, so that we all own it, and then we begin all disseminating and creating awareness on the peace agreement. فده الطريقة الوحيد لو هو أدى فرصة وقال نحلوا اللجنة الحالية دي بتاعت الناشونال دايالوج، ويكون في لجنة جديدة بتمثل كل الأعضاء بتاع الأحزاب المضت الاتفاقية بالبرسنتج معين، وبالإضافة للأحزاب اللي حتى ما جو زي ناس جنرال توماس شيريلو وكده ذاته to be part of that this national dialogue، عشان شنو نقدروا ان احنا نبشروا ده يكون هو الروح بتاع الثقه فعلا، وبيخلينا نحس انه احنا جزء من الناشونال، لانه انا بشوف انه الناشونال dialogue ده حيكون very instrumental for the ownership of the peace agreement by our people. So for that to happen، ما الناس اللي عندهم constituency يا جماعه، الاحزاب دي عندهم ناسهم في مناطقهم، ففي كوميتي ثاني بتاع حكومه بيشيلوهم هناك، ما في يكون في صيغه ولا شنو يعني. That's the common sense, you know. So that's something I would like to organize.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now observing the speech of President Kiir, we're still there.
He went ahead and said prophet of doom. And he said that in 2013, when he dressed in a military uniform with a television, and he said the prophet of doom actually created this. Why is still going back and we are in the era of peace?
Well, you know, this is a question that all of us as Junubin, we should all ask ourselves. And I want to urge us, let us move forward, yeah, Junubin. Yani, the South Sudanese have spoken in Juba. النمبر بتاع الناس الجا مهما كان أنا قاعد وين في محل peaceful يا جماعة، وممكن نقعد ناكل وجبة في اليوم. Let us remember إنه في جنوب هناك ناس في كتير ما قاعدين يشرب مويه، خليك من اكل. صحن بتاع فول ب 300 وحاجه جنيه، 300 and something pounds. Situation is really hard, it's biting. So when the people came and showed up at that celebrations, they really spoke. That's a vote of trust in the peace agreement. بهذا attitude, with that kind of attitude, let us try our best to also move forward and positively. And I'm sure Dr. Riek Machar also he's trying his best to move forward and positively. But we could urge the government and any party to the peace agreement and any جنوبي زي قبل أنا كلمت مع أخوي تاني قبل القال ده من وين من جنوب السودان وشنو كلام ده. You know, it is our responsibility to continue educate ourselves to speak the language of peace. Yeah, that and we have observed such a language. Please, Mr. President, in subsequent discussions and talks, refrain. You must embrace the peace spirit in letter and spirit. So make sure that you speak in a way that is welcoming to everybody. you know, not putting people off. So دي حاجة نحن ممكن نكررها يعني أو ننادي بيها. فأي زول ده يتكلم عكس السلام وكده, let us try to reason out with the person how they're talking and all that. فأنا I wouldn't want to get stuck on it as a person, to be honest with you, because I really want us to move forward. The way I've seen the way how Junubin have endorsed and gave their go ahead on 31st October. So that's my.
Thank you.
Salam. Thank you. Ayak كيف كويسة? Hi.
Now my question will shift to your Gamio, what people call them. So Museveni actually said three words. Jok. Huwiya. In Arabic. And then Maslaha. He said these two words in Arabic. Huwiya, Maslaha, and then he said Jok. And he explained Jok, of course, in Dinka. He's the devil. In Acholi, he's the devil. In Nuer, he's the devil. In Bari, it's the same. And he said those two words in Arabic. Huwiya, Maslaha. I know that South Sudan is a hunting field for both. You know of them. Museveni and Bashir. Why Museveni is trying to remind South Sudanese with the issue of Huwiya and Maslaha. What's the problem here?
You know, that's the leader of another country, first of all, and what he says, you know, he's a leader of another country. To a certain extent, I would agree with you.
Is he trying to inject something here?
On a certain point, I would want to agree with you on the issue of principality. مبدأ اللي هو he is one of the guarantors of the peace agreement. ما هو propelled, and then Uhuru أدى للبشير, فالبشير continued with it. So Bashir then put more effort than anybody else, and that's why President Bashir is seen more visibly. But Museveni did a lot. He's a stakeholder in the sense that he has a moral obligation, even though he's not a South Sudanese, but he has a moral obligation to speak respectfully, peacefully, not divisive. Whoever advised him or who by himself he talked, it wasn't pleasant. It's definitely protocol-wise, it's not right. You know, he's a leader of another country, and South Sudan is a sovereign state. يعني فما مفروض يعني كان وفي حاجات تانية كمان هو قالها, you know. The point I'm trying to say is that
he said I'm not Arab.
I saw that. You know, اللغة مفروض تكون لغة سلمية. The language should be that of peace, and he should have reminded himself طبعا على إنه he's one of the midwives of this peace agreement, so the language should have come from him by example. لكن يا هو طبعا انت, you and I, we know one thing with our African leaders, they're aged, هم جايز وبيجوا بيشوف ناس تانيين ده زي يشوفوا صغار. أسا يعني ما بالك هو بكون شايف دكتور ياك is younger than President Kiir, I think, yeah. فهو بكون شايف دكتور ياك ده ذاته جنى صغير, وشايف باقي الشعب الجنوبي اللي كانوا في الحفلة اليوم الاحتفال maybe يشوفها صغار. فدي المشكلة بتاعنا all the people in Africa, you know, human sometimes they blunder between politics, interest, and elderly kind of looking at things, you know, which is the unquestionable. They can say any kind of language on people and it's not right. لكن ده برضو من الحاجات ان احنا we need to pin down the moral responsibility بتاع midwives بتاع peace agreement who are also members of the IGAD, which is the platform where this agreement was negotiated, that they must practice what they preach. يعني هم they helped us broker the peace agreement, then they should stick to peaceful way of talking, you know. So أنا بس بشوف إنه طبعا you know, I mean, I don't want to talk on hearsay, you know what I'm saying. That's not the principle we should be doing, but we should stick to the issue of they are.
But my question here, Comrade Suzanne Jambo.
Yeah.
Is Museveni South Sudanese more than South Sudanese?
Of course not.
Because he wanted to remind that the era when the North, the radio said في تحديد الهوية العربية. from the south.
From the south.
And now those who used to talk about the identity, of Arab, they are coming and they are telling you that we are making peace. And Bashir was praised by South Sudanese on that celebration, actually. So there is something here I see he wants to inject. And why would he behave that way?
Well, that's what I was telling you, that we need to apprehend such talk scientifically. We need to talk about it scientifically. Yes, he's not more South Sudanese than others, but the question is, what is his role there? Why was he present there? He was present there as one of the midwives of this peace agreement. ما هو هم الاثنين ما في جزء من الاتفاقية مضى في كمبالا وفي جزء من الاتفاقية مضى في الخرطوم. شفت كيف؟ These are the two primary people in terms of within the region as guarantors of the peace agreement, as well they are member of the IGAD. فده البريزنس بتاعه حضوره كان بسببين ده، انه هم الناس اللي ساعدوا في مضي الاتفاقية، وفي نفس الوقت هم برضو هو برضو في الإيجاد يعني، وده المنبر الاتفاقية مضت فيه، عشان كده كان حضوره هناك. وطبعا جزء من إيست أفريقيا والجنوب جزء من إيست أفريقيا. South Sudan is part of East Africa. فنحن what we need to do scientifically is to say that the speech of President Museveni hurt us, injured us as people of Sudan and South Sudan respectively along this particular line, and we would like to encourage peaceful, respectful language, among us and behavior accordingly. طبعا انت يعني in Africa generally, so to speak, specifically rather, and generally even as president of the world generally, a president's speech normally is supposed to be drafted into policy. It's supposed to be followed up into something else that will be felt more tangibly. فأنت you analyze ليه بقول مصلحة. يعني I would be more keen and interested in the whole issue of maslaha. So that is where we need to really pin it and untangle it down. مصلحة من ناحية شنو؟ ناحية سلمية يعني هم they are helping us to seek peace so that there is no war extending to Uganda, or مصلحة material? Is it مصلحة مادية؟ مصلحة عسكرية؟ فدي من الحاجات أن we need to question very loud and clear about it, so because it's a president's speech normally can be transferred or translated into a policy of that particular nation. So as a protective measure as جنوبين, in fact ده حاجة مفروض يجي من الرئيس بتاعنا أو برضو رئيس بشير where it's applicable for him إنه هم to question it يعني. شفت كيف؟ that is something that need to be, because it could be an hindrance to the peace agreement in some time to come يعني. We have to just be careful, and I think the right authorities should question it because it could have serious implication of البلد بتاعنا.
So now I have another question from Atilio Abu Yasmin. He said, will Sudanese government or al-Bashir in particular hold those warring parties sign the revitalization peace agreement accountable in case of violation?
That's clear. It has come out very clearly in the speeches of those two leaders. It has been repeated over and over again, especially very explicitly, more so by President Bashir, when he said, I shall make sure to it. And even in his speech, he reiterated that. He repeated it and said it again. In his speech, he said that I shall make sure that this peace agreement shall be fully implemented. فكانوا في witnesses. الشعب الجنوبي كان witness, والشعب الشمال بتاع السودان كان witness, and the whole world, the IGAD, the African countries were all witnesses to that speech. شفتها? And this is why I say this is also the parting distinction which makes this peace agreement more stronger than any other peace agreement, is that we have explicit individuals in the name of President Omar al-Bashir, the President of the Republic of Sudan, and the President Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda, having said that they are guarantors, come forward and say they are guarantors of the peace agreement. That's why this peace agreement sounds a little bit stronger in that sense, that we have two leaders of two neighboring nations having taken that responsibility, whilst before in Hamakan عندنا حاجة بالشكل ده. Yes, that answer comes to me as one of the strongest points about this peace agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Now,
Comrade
Jambo.
Jambo.
Yes, my brother.
Kenya,
Ethiopia.
I know that
Ethiopia sent
a
a ceremonial leader
to attend.
Yeah.
While
President Abiy Ahmed
is the
is the current
IGAD
president.
I'm not
I'm not going to emphasize on him more.
But Kenya,
The sisterly country,
hosted
hosted the CPA.
Most of
Most of money of South Sudan
are there.
are there.
They did not
They
show
did not show up
on
on peace celebration.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I will start with the easier one, perhaps the one of Ethiopia. Yes, it may be a ceremonial one, but no, it is the highest office in the country constitutionally. So to send the president, perhaps Ethiopia, as a leadership in its entirety, the ruling party, looked at it very wisely. I can analyze as an analyst right now, because I do not have any written information from Ethiopia like that, but as an analyst, that two things they wanted to achieve. Ethiopia's new leadership is quite dynamic. The new prime minister has come with the strongest agenda of reforms. He hit the ground running, as it were. So he made a lot of changes that are very visible, primarily the gender balance in Ethiopia. That is probably the greatest achievement that he has done in the shortest period of time in comparison with many other African countries. In fact, in comparison with the rest of Africa and the world, for that matter. So perhaps because of that, in addition to the fact that the president of Ethiopia is actually the highest authority in Ethiopia, they opted as the entire leadership in Ethiopia to ensure that the highest authority to represent Ethiopia as a country in South Sudan, and the very fact that she happens to be a woman, is a very strong sending signal to all of us as South Sudanese, to peace brokers, and to you name it, that this is what Ethiopia is committed to. Gender equality, and of course, the highest office bearer came in person there. So to me, that is very, very important. I would read into it. It's a very progressive kind of approach. And she's a seasoned diplomat, so the speech that she put together is quite eloquent and very thorough, actually, that she had looked at the peace agreement, or whoever that wrote the speech for her, looked at the agreement very well and they were able to scientifically stipulate the pros and the cons of that agreement. So I like that a lot. However, the absence of Kenya remains highly suspicious, and anybody can conclude whichever way they want to conclude. To be honest with you, Kenya mysteriously, President Uhuru opted out of being part of this peace agreement from the word go, from earlier on. So it's not after the expose ولا الفضايح طلعت, scandals طلعت قريب ده. It was way earlier on. So I wouldn't tie it in per se with that, but I would say that Kenya missed out on a glorious moment. Kenya could have been the one being called the peacemaker of Africa, because Bashir got a lot of names. or he got a lot of beautiful names as a result of the role he played, So perhaps Kenya could have been sang and told all that, but perhaps Kenya's leadership may not have succeeded the way Bashir has, because Bashir and North Sudan and Bashir and Dirdiri in particular is very knowledgeable on South Sudan, because when we were in Naivasha, Dirdiri was second secretary at the embassy in Nairobi. I met Dirdiri myself personally, and he was always attending the peace talks in Naivasha. So he's a very seasoned person in terms of Junub, in terms of peace negotiations and all of that. So I don't think Kenya would have done any better. That people like General Simbeo are no longer active in such activities, So I think Kenya's president should have really, I don't know, maybe swallowed the humble pie that Kenya this time it is not glorious in making peace for South Sudan as ought to have been, and perhaps it coincided with all the exposure that happened with the banking sector, the financial sector, and all of that. So you never know. I mean, I'm talking as an independent analyst here, as Suzanne Jambo. That any conclusion from us could be, so we don't know really, so it could be anything.
Yeah. The reason I ask question, Suzanne Jambo, all the South Sudan financial generals are in Kenya.
Yeah.
The official children, they go to school in Kenya. Everything. They deliver in Nairobi hospital. You know. So now Kenya has been giving 45 million from the United States, $45 million to make sure peace comes to South Sudan. Just a week before celebration in Juba, Jeff Konenge came and gave an interview to President here. Was it just to provoke? Does they have any distinction here? What's going on there? Now they are not showing up. There is no even lower level. I have heard that the ambassador actually took off and went back to Nairobi prior to celebration in Juba. There is something here we don't understand. What it is.
Well, your conclusion and guess is as good as mine. We can only do hearsay. We can only analyze independently as individuals. But in the absence of any official apology from the Kenyan government, it's very difficult. We can only speculate. يعني نحن ما ممكن بدون ما في أي يعني evidence اللي هو what is it evidence بالعربي بدون any evidence نحن ما ممكن نقول الكينيين ما حضروا عشان كده إلا هم يذكروا لنا بالتحديد لأنه الخجل بتاع shying away of the Kenyan government from the peace talks happened way before the exposure of the financial scandals. So perhaps إنه هو maybe الحكومة الكينية وبالذات رئيس أوهورو كينياتا may have felt إنه البيس ده ما ماشي قدام ولا شنو ما دار يضيع زمنه هو ذاته يمكن فقد أمل في الجنوبيين الزمن داك ولا whatever. لكن وبرهابس ذاته من حظ الجنوبيين انه الرئيس البشير يا هو اللي يعمل ميديشن لانه هو بيعرف ان احنا الجنوبيين تمام وعساكر بتاعنا وحكام بتاعنا وليدرز بتاعنا ده كله عارف منتاليتي بتاعهم تمام. Who knows ان احنا يعني ما في حاجات ربانيه ذاته. That some things could be godly intervention. In time we will know more emphatically. However, we can demand publicly why the Kenya government was not there. Kenya government and country, the Republic of Kenya, has been very instrumental in all these agreements, not only in South Sudan, but also in Somalia, East Africa generally, in Somalia also. And why not in this particular one, at least the occasion of it? And we could ask, I mean, and we should be able to get some, even if it's lip service, some answer. They owe it to us to explain to us and tell us what happened exactly. As far as the generals and the people that we have and the money in Kenya, that thing is not only Kenya, but it's also Ethiopia, it's also Uganda. You know, the whole scandal is huge. You know, the money has been washed and has gone even to as far as USA, you know, and places. If you read the report by the Enough Project, the recent report, this money is huge. You know, they own banks in South Sudan. Our people, our corrupt leaders have taken huge chunks of shares, and those banks have not been operating anything but the money of these individuals. So fictitious bank on the outside, but really they were doing bigger business transaction and cleaning up the money to take it through Kenya and Uganda and to other outlets around the world. You know, so that's how our money escaped from South Sudan. So the question is definitely, no doubt, is a question of financial accountability as part of and that's something that should be tied in with the agenda for the demand for the hybrid court. As part of the investigation of the hybrid court, that this information must be thoroughly studied, because how did the money get cleaned up and get through? Because we don't have banks that have international branches. So how did the money get out, you know? And we don't have transactions with international banks in South Sudan. So how did the money get out? We have Ethiopian banks, Kenyan banks, and Ugandan banks. in South Sudan. So they must all be found out, like investigated and found out how the whole thing is, because the report is quite shocking. It's quite revealing and shocking by the Enough project, you know, recently. Yeah, so that's my answer. Yeah.
Two more questions
to go.
Yeah, sure, brother.
Now,
There
are some
speculation.
Sister Jambo, that
actually
there
were issues of corruption when independence of South Sudan took place. And you as someone who was in charge of foreign affairs in the SPLM party, you involved in that. What is your response?
Involved in what?
In that
part of corruption, the independent.
No, I did not even. I did not even get sitting allowance personally in the independence celebrations. I worked myself out. I was traveling, I was in meetings, and I was taking minutes, and I was reporting to my authorities, the different respective authorities. I did not even get sitting allowance, and I hope if Dr. Yak Mashar is listening to this, because I was made to understand as people who were sitting day in and out in the government of South Sudan task formation, who was supposed to have been paid some money. I was not paid. I was actually the co-chair of the high-level committee on foreign relations and invitations. I was not even given the budget to print cards. And I hope Minister Dengalor is listening to this message, because his ministry, the Ministry for Regional Cooperation, had a bank account and the money was deposited there. And I did not get even the authorization to print invitation cards. In the end, I was stuck with inviting people like the Secretary General and whatnot of the ANC. I did not even have a business invitation card to invite them. I went to Afot Lual, who was then the PA of the president, and I asked him to help me print some cards from the office of the president to invite those very important people that I wanted from Southern Africa region, liberation movement leaders, to come and attend and participate in the thing. So I as Suzanne Jambo, I was always made sure, and I hope Comrade Pagana Mom is also listening to this.
Watching.
Yes, I hope he's watching this, because for Comrade Pagan, I have all my memos still, where I sat down with you day in and out for many months. Comrade Pagan, I hope you're listening to this, where I questioned why Suzanne Jambo is the only secretary who was paid half her salary. Those of Gabriel Alak, who was national secretary, was paid, I don't even know, not even less than more than twice of my money. Okay, my salary was paid half. Not only that, I was not given even medical allowance. I was not even given housing allowance, no travel allowance, no per diem. I traveled the world through the support of our Norwegian friends who bought for me economy tickets, and I lodged with people in their homes as SPLM Foreign Secretary, because SPLM's General Secretariat was not approving my per diems. So I documented all that in my book as a human rights champion within the SPLM, that some people within the SPLM General Secretariat, I knew Comrade Pagana Mumi, you're the Secretary General, you're my direct supervisor. And I went to you directly, because after being frustrated by the Finance Secretariat, I went to you and I asked you, why was I being discriminated against in terms of finances? Even my own salary, you gave me half the salary. You gave me half the salary for 7 good years. And eventually I went and I complained to the chairman of the SPLM. And I went with all my evidence and the memos that I wrote to you, Comrade Pagana Mum. I went and showed them to Comrade Salva Kiir after the flying of the flag, because I no longer could contain all my savings, including savings for my son's education, I had to use, including a family property I had to sell in order to make ends meet. And I'm ready, as Suzanne Jambo, I'm ready to be audited to show how much I earned from SPLM. SPLM owes me no less than $200,000 in terms of rent for 7 good years. Rent, medical allowance, travel allowance, and my salary. I was given 50% of my salary. Whoever wanted to frustrate me to get out of my service, national service in the SPLM, I ended up selling family property, my son's education scheme that I did for him since he was only a few months old. Today, my son is stranded from school fees. He's been sitting at home for 2 good years. I have to speak because this is the truth that Suzanne Jambo never spoke. And I'm going to speak about it. That my son has been denied education for 2 good years. I do not know any of your children, of those who barred me from my sweat and salary. Any of your children have not gone to school because of school fees when you are all flying in money. All of you, my leaders, whether it's President Kiir, whether it's Pagana Mum, and others who are in charge of the finance, in complicity with. So Suzanne Jambo shall stand in witness one day with all my evidence. I have all my evidence, all my memos in original form. I have all of them, I kept them, and I'm going to stand and show how hard it has been for me. As Foreign Secretary of SPLM, I would say in people's couches in their living room, Kawajat with Kawajat, because SPLM refused to give me hotel money so that I can do my national duty. On top of that, even money for Wi-Fi, because those days we did not have Wi-Fi. When you go to a place, you have to buy a token.
Minutes.
20 euro or maybe $20 a day I was spending for myself. Even communication with my son back home, I have to spend from my money, from my pocket. Even food, I have to spend from my pocket, which was half as it is. So I talk with this very passionately because I've never talked about this in front of the public. For 7 years, I kept my mouth shut because the interest of my country was more than me, was bigger than me. I did not want to sound like a leader who said, you know what, I'm going to give up because I'm not being paid salary or medical cover. I could have died in any of those planes or could have gotten sick during any of those travels. Who would have taken care of my health? And I'm a single mother and I have my child to take care of. I'm a mother. I have a child to take care of and a mother who is sickly. My mother has been sickly for quite some time and I take care of her health. And of course, as Junubin, we have extended family members. But I kept quiet. And because of my country, I swallowed a lot of humiliation. And Pagan, you remember how many times I met with you and the memos I have. And you dodged me. SPLM does not have this, does not have that. And everybody else was being paid because I saw the slips of their salaries. I saw when they signed in the sheet of the accountants, I saw the disparities and the discrimination that they did to me. But here I am, standing strong and determined not only to save Suzanne Jambo, but the people of South Sudan. To save and to serve faithfully. This is, and as far as that is concerned, so there you go. Corruption has not touched me. In fact, I've been denied. I have been denied. And I have my evidence where even we sold the family property for almost for free because I was desperate and I was sickly. I was sickly. I had almost 2 surgeries. Friends, foreign friends, Kenyans or Ugandans or whatever, were the ones who helped me with my bills. I have been sick. I've been working. And Pagan, I wrote memos about my health and I attached all the medical reports about it and the findings. Discrimination in SPLM.
Thank you.
Thank
you. With that, you mentioned the discrimination.
Yes.
And a little earlier, you said in 2016, before you left Juba, you have intensive talks with President Kiir. And you confronted him. That there's something going on is not quite right. And you said you were promised for something. Yes, we have been watching that there are sons and daughters of foreign politicians or those who are active in the army. They have been given a post. And I remember part of them.
Yeah.
Have you felt discriminated because you don't have anyone, and that's why they were charging you, including President Kiir? That's why you change your mind totally and say, I'm going to leave and create my own thing?
You know, in Junub, it's sad. There's a culture of godfathers and godmothers to begin with. People protecting one another. There are groups of people, they're always looking out for the interests of each other. And there are families who always look out for the interests of their children. And that's a fact. Competent people who do not have a heavy weight behind them or in front of them, it's hard, especially if you're competent. Because not only that they only support their families and friends and one another, but they also want to crush any goodwill to develop our nation. Somebody will be sitting on a chair that he or she is not deserving, and because of that, he or she will block others who can try to do something better for that country, for our country. So we have two levels of retarding our nation. Level of favoritism, that I will unleash all the money of government and of the people of South Sudan and give it to my children or to my best friends, and contracts and businesses to my children or to my best friends, and leave out the competent companies and organizations which could do the better job. And it's not only to individuals, by the way. Indigenous companies have been locked out of businesses in South Sudan because it mind a godfather, godmother to recommend you. Okay? And then also, they do not want to see somebody or individuals who are competent and patriotic who want to do the right job for the country. They will block you out of that, you know. So to frustrate, that's why the frustration is felt by every Janubi as a result. Because service is what speaks the language that will go to the people. ما هي اللغة بين الناس الليدرز أو البابليك سيرفيس الخدمة الوطنية شنو بين الكونتراكت بينه وبين الشعب السيرفيسز. فلما السيرفيسز ما قاعد تحصل معناته في حاجة في النص ما حاصل غلط ما حاصل كويس. There is something in the middle that's not good. The companies awarded these contracts and are fictitious وحرامية وذاته عيالهم برضه حرامية في حرامية لأنه في كثير من عيال ناس ماسكين businesses في جنوب ده وفي شركات كثيرة بأسامي عيال ناس بمناسبة. So that is definitely حاصل. Well, these are the things that need to be investigated as well because it is retarding our country. Somebody somewhere is dying in جنوب لانه ما عندنا مستشفيات كويس ودواء كويس لانه يا الناس ماسكين الكونتراكتات بتاع الحاجات ده. شفت كيف؟ فده برضه ما انت كيلينج ده ما بيحصل دايركت ثرو ده قال نوصل ثرو اسمه شنو؟ ثرو الريتارديشن اللي بيحصل يعني التعطيل اللي بيحصل دايركتلي كده. شفت كيف؟ انه ما خدمات ما يكون فيه. وفي عيال ناس حاسه are not able to go to school في جنوب because ما في education كويس وحتى teachers there is no support to the teachers and all that. So عيال كثير مستقبلهم قاعد يضيع في جنوب. يعني a lot of our children in South Sudan their future is being wasted because the right ministry is supposed to be doing something but it's not doing because the contracts are being awarded to the wrong people. فالحرب بتاع الجنوب ده او الباد governance بتاع الجنوب ده يعني سبب في انهيارات كثيرة جدا جدا وتفكيك في المجتمع بتاعنا. يعني الحصل في الجنوب ده it's huge. It is a huge accountability level. It's so huge. يعني انت ما ممكن تصدق في 13 سنة كم billions of dollars could have saved our nation. يعني احنا كان حاسة يعني ناس صحتهم كويس في ناس قاعدين يموتوا من امراض بسيط جدا جدا في الجنوب لانه انت ما قاعد تاكل كويس وما في دواء ذاته on top of that. انت عندك ملاريا تموت من ملاريا او تايفويد وانه بدواء انت ممكن تتعالج يعني with medicine you can get cured. في ناس بيموتوا من لوزات في ناس بيموتوا من حمى. You know, so all these issues that need to be addressed and so that the consciousness level of جنوبين to be raised يا جماعة. يعني انت ماسك كرسي you must have the highest moral and integrity in you to feel the pain of the average citizen of the average person عشان تحس بمشاكل بتاعهم تكون connected مع الوضع بتاع الإنساني الهيمانيتيريان situation بتاع الناس. فدي حاجة يعني دي above corruption ذاته ده beyond corruption ده يعني basic gross human rights violation بالنسبة للشعب إنه كون أنت تحتكر يعني monopolize السيرفيسز وقروش الحكومة لناس معينة وشركات معينة and then consequently ما في أي سيرفيسز للناس. عليك الله مواسير لغاية هسه في جوبا في بيوت ما في. دي العاصمة نحن بنشتري موية الموية ما مضمون فوقه ديدان فوقه شنو حتى لجسمك ممكن يجيب لك مشكلة حتى لو أنت بتستحمى به ممكن يجيب مشكلة في جسمك خليك من ناس قاعدين يشربوا. So all these things يعني and this is the things that we need to hear them being discussed in parliament. We need the government to discuss in parliament, the government also to discuss in cabinet meetings. What is going on? Why we don't have مواسير؟ منو ماسك كونتراكتات بتاع مواسير بتاع مويه في الجنوب؟ These are, you know, النونو ذاته أسياد الترنكات بتاعت المويه العربات اللي بيجيب مويه في all over جوبا ده منيا ماسك كونتراكتات دول ولا عربات دي بتاع ناس منو. We need to find out. أنت بتستغرب إنه to find out إنه generals هم ماسكين حاجات دول وفي بعض من السياسيين وفي عيالهم وكده. يعني the list is just endless in terms of curtailing the جنوب ده.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking from the bottom of your heart. Now, are we going to see Suzanne Jambo in Juba soon? Because you spoke about being optimistic. Peace process. How it's gonna work fine. Nothing is gonna happen. Are we gonna see you soon in Juba then?
Yeah. I'll be in Juba very soon. And I want to put myself في trial. Let's see. لو في زول من national security مسكني يعني أنا بشوف هذا الكلام ده حقيقة ولا لا. You know, ما نحن we have to put the words of the president into test. ولا شنو؟ مش هو قال فضلوا ما في زول هيمسككم وحتى الناس اللي ما مضوا الاتفاقية even those who have not signed let them come وشنو؟ فإحنا ماشيين نشوفه كده ورينا كلامه ده ماشي يتطبق ولا لا. ونحن ماشيين نكتب مقالات في الجرائد المحلية كده نشوف هيمسكونا ولا لا. You know, we have to be, some of us have to be the guinea pig, the guinea pigs of this peace agreement. Some of us will have to be seen, you know, so, yeah.
Suzanne Jambo, newly created party. Thank you so much for coming to live with Concerned Citizens of South Sudan. I give you the last word before you go. And welcome to the United States, by the way.
Thank you very much, my brother. والله أنا بس الحاجة اللي بقولها أولاً وأخيراً ودائماً السلام ما بس اتفاقية على حبر ولا حبر على ورق. It's not ink on paper only. دي المشكلة اللي حصلت لنا في نيفاشا إنه نحن قلنا الاتفاقية خلاص لما نمضوها في الورق. But السلام هو الروح بتاعنا. نحن we must really take peace as a homework at home and wherever we go. We must preach the culture of our diverse, how beautiful we are diverse as جنوبين. إنها 64++. ونحن كلنا سوا ونحن equal ومش شنو يا أخوي ما ترفع سلاح يا جماعة how we get rid of the culture of gunnism you know and all these things. فدي مسؤولية بتاعتنا كلنا وما نخلو كلام ده للحكومة ولا الأحزاب الماضية. دي مسؤوليتنا. Let us all leave a legacy. Brother Jongkor and everybody who is an adult right now here. Tomorrow when we grow old, our grandchildren are going to ask us, what did you do to save that country? We have a story. We should have a story to tell our grandchildren. That is where it comes from. Let us leave a legacy. Fight peacefully until the end and prove yourself wrong on the lower side, but prove that this peace agreement is right on the optimum side. This is our collective responsibility. Peace must be the language because otherwise we will see ourselves أي زول تاني بيموت من أي حرب. If anybody dies from any war right now, it could be our responsibility because we did not pay attention to this situation, you know. So this is what it's our collective responsibility. Let us pin our leaders down. Let us monitor. Let us remain vigilant. Let us remain factual. Let us remain in as much as possible with integrity. Let us, you know, all the political alliances and allegiances and whatever, for whatever interest, at the end of the day, the legacy is yours, is mine, is all of us to take home to our grandchildren one day. It is an integrity issue. All these alliances will shift. Today أنا مع فلان, بكرة أنا مع فلان, بعد 20, 30, 40, 50 سنة. All we have to go with is I myself alone. What did I do in 2018 for the peace of my country? Who knows, you know? So the legacy is within our innermost integral part of us, integrity, the integrity of our personality. فأنا بقول الكلام دي مسؤوليتنا كلنا ونكون صريحين بأي طريقة ممكنة لأنه نحن بين الحياة والموت كشعب وكدولة بين الحياة والموت. فأنت عملت شنو لبلدك في 2018 الجواب بتاعه أنت بتعرفه بنفسك. الليلة أنت تكون مع فلان وتكون مع فلان بكرة ممكن تغير. لكن بعد 20 30 سنه لما انت تعاين لعيال احفادك تعاين لهم في عيونهم تقول لهم انا دي جدكم ده ولا حبوبتكم ده يوم داك انا وقفت مع السلام وانا قمت بالدور الفلاني. فده الحاجه اللي انا بقولها مسؤوليتنا نحن collectively. This is what I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, really, من قلبي كله جوا.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on.
And please
try to have a blessed
day there
in Dallas.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Enjoy the barbecue and southern, United States.
Hospitality, yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother, and keep up. God bless you all. شكرا لكل المشاهدين. شكرا. Okay.
All right, here you have it, concerned citizen of South Sudan. We had Suzanne Jambo on our show, and we finish up the interview. Now is your opportunity to come forward and air your perspective and your opinion as well. Remember, no spin zone, and here we don't tolerate any insults. Thank you for being and for cooperating. We can disagree to disagree, as I said all the time. This forum is for all South Sudanese from all walk of life, from all different, political affiliation. We do not accept any insult. You are highly welcome to send in your request and participate in the program. One more time, I welcome you to the show. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and check my list and see who are those in line to come forward. All right. All right. Go ahead and send in your request. Atilio Abu Yasmin, I was looking for you, please. Send me that request if you are not busy. Please send me a request. Okay.